Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation and for the introduction. Yes. So my topic will be related to what Joseph is lecturing about. So it will be about a particular class of motives, named the so-called Tate motives, which were already introduced yesterday a little bit. Right. Not everybody was here, but they were introduced yesterday. So I think I have to recall it. Okay. Yeah, so I want to give several topological examples throughout the talks. And let me start with one example. What I want to emphasize is that certain geometrically defined categories like sheaves or spaces or certain things can be described in more algebraic ways. And the first example what comes to mind in this context is if you have a connected, say, manifold. Then local systems of K modules, so locally constant sheaves of K modules on X are in one-to-one correspondence to representations of the fundamental group in K modules. After picking a base point, which I neglect for now, I want an X these K modules to get the usual known correspondence, and all the talks will be about versions of this correspondence in some sense. And so as you have, yeah, so for example, another incarnation of such a correspondence is the so-called Tate duality, where you have certain tensor categories, and they can be classified such that they come from representations of an affine group scheme over a given field. And this is another example. But I want to get back to examples now which are not concerned so much with groups like the fundamental group or the Tanakian dual or Tanakian category, but more to cohomology algebras. So therefore I want to give another example, also from topology. Maybe we have, again I think a manifold, and yeah, it should be of the type, homotopy type of phi CW complex, which is almost usually the case. And we want to study sheaves of R modules on this. So if I is a commutative ring, I denote by P XR the derived category of sheaves of R modules on X. So that's a nice invariant of the space. And so we want to make connection to the cohomology of X. So therefore I introduce a subcategory here. So I denote by P UN, upper UN for unipotent, X comma R. This is full localizing subcategory. Generated just by the tilde unit, which is the constant sheaf on R, so to say. Say R index X. And so this is a very small category, so it's somehow consisting, the cohomology sheaves will consist of locally constant sheaves, and more is true, they will be in a certain sense unipotent, or at least unipotent. So inductive systems of unipotent sheaves. And then the example I want to give is now that so I also want to denote by HXR a version of the cohomology algebra of X with coefficients in R, maybe the cohomology as the infinity algebra, cohomology of X as an infinity algebra. You can think about it, for example, if you work with spectra, you can take the unworked plane spectrum on R, which is already something like a commutative ring spectrum, and take the function spectrum out of the suspension spectrum of X into this. Because X has a diagonal, this will inherit a commutative ring spectrum structure, and this is denoted HXR. An example I want to give is that when there's natural equivalence of tensor triangulated or infinity categories, say, between this sheaf category on X with just modules over this infinity ring. Okay. So maybe I should comment a little bit on the proof, because there's one small technicality which is one has to care about, namely that this category of sheaves is by far not completely generated. So the idea of the proof is, of course, that on both sides we have the tensor unit, and the horns between shifts of the tensor units on both sides are the same by construction. But you cannot directly argue this, because this category is at least the big category. In the big category, the tensor unit will in general not be compact. So we have to introduce another category. So comments on the proof here a little bit. So we can introduce a little bigger category. In the category of locally constant objects in the sheaf category, meaning if we have an F in here, then there should exist a cover of the X-bar opens such that the restrictions F infinity to F UI is in the image of the canonical functor from the category of R to the sheaf category of UI. So this means that in a derived sense, this F is locally given by a constant object. And then one has to see the following fact, that these locally constant sheaves can be modeled in a nice way, maybe just as a functor category. So here's the locally constant sheaves, this derived category of R module sheaves. And this can be modeled as the functor category. Now I use infinity categories here, and infinity category in the sense. From the infinity group with underlying X, which I also denote by X, to just R modules. R. So I don't comment a lot on this equivalence, but the idea is that to give such a locally constant sheaf is nothing else but, so to say, to attach locally to a point an R module. And if you have a path, so to say, in X, then we have a transformation back from one R module to the other one. This means a path in X is nothing else but a morphism in this infinity group with underlying X. And so you get the induced back here. And yeah, this is the only information you need for objects which are locally constant. And if you have this, then you can argue, because in this category, because X is a finite CW complex, or say X is homotopic equivalent to a finite CW complex, then it follows that the tensor unit 1 in this functor category, X to mod R, is compact. And then you can make this argument I already indicated. Maybe then that yeah, you get I mean, you get an induced junction, at least, first of all, from the modulus over h of r, h of x comma r, that induced a junction. First of all, to the whole category, but it factors through all the subcategories I introduced. And for things which are finitely channeled by the tensor unit, you will see that you have an isomorphism on Hom groups, and then because in both categories, if you factor it through D and C, XR, then because on both sides the tensor units are complex, we'll see further factorization to the unipotent locally constant sheaves inclusive equivalence. So this is the method I want to apply several times, also for motives.
Excuse me?
Yeah?
Can you say again why d of x comma r is not compactly generated?
Yeah, there's a paper by Niemann, which has the following theory. If you have at least one-dimensional connected manifold open, then the only compact objects are the zero objects. So the problem is that on such an open manifold, you can, if you take, let's just take R, and take more and more square sheaves and take infinite sum of those, then if you take the sum in the category on the one hand side, and if you hop into it, you get the product, so to say. That's a fact about manifolds, but in the motivic categories, I will work with later.
Did you assume X was compact?
No, for this proposition, not no.
Well, at some point you used that X was finite. Oh, homotopy.
Homotopy equivalent, yeah.
It's still open.
It can be still open.
So, is there a difference between DLC and DUN?
Yeah, and we have many locally constant sheaves which are, for example, representations of pi1 which are not unipotent. Think about the fundamental group with GL2 set. The fundamental group has a two-dimensional vector space which has exactly this monodromy, then it will be non-unipotent. So DLC contains much more objects, but in fact for any topological space, this functor category from X to DR is also compactly generated. But in general, the tensor unit will not be compact. Okay. So in general, if you have an infinite category C, then the functor category from this infinity group attached to X to C can be thought as something like locally constant systems. So systems on X with values in C. And for example, if X is path connected, then we have equivalence X to omega X. And if you have this group like infinity space omega X, you can view representations of this group-like space in an arbitrary infinity category to be a functor category from the specifying space of this group-like infinity space. So we see that such a locally constant sheaf in the case X is path connected can be seen as well as an object in C with so there is an action of omega X on it. So this is a generalization of my class example where I had pi1 acting on something. Here we have the loop space of this acting on an object. Now you can view this infinity group as one point this b omega x with automorphisms given by the elements of omega x. And therefore, a representation will be nothing else, a representation of omega x in C will be nothing else as a function from b omega x to C, but b omega x is x. So we see that this model is also the locally constant systems with values in C. And I want to give, for example, one can study the functor category with x is fast connected set from C connected spaces. So that's a nice invariant of the homotype type of x. We look at systems of spaces on x, and there I can already mention what inclination of a non-linear naked duality theorem. Namely, if you evaluate here at a point in x, go to spaces. That's what one usually thinks about being a fiber functor. Then one can study the endomorphisms or automorphisms of such a functor. This is usually done with naked duality. And what you recover is exactly in this case what really should act as automorphisms on the objects on which we consider at the moment, namely this will be the loop space of x, and that's the theory we use to and we will see later that our group objects, which we study, in this case omega x, will be in many instances given by endomorphism or automorphism of fiber functors. So this is all in the topological context. Now I get to an example which is a more of an algebraic flavor. So I take a look at that kind of group scheme over here. Okay. Then we can study the representation category of G. So finite dimensional representations, if I write rep, then I usually mean finite dimensional representations, which are nothing else but finite dimensional A comodules. A is so to say in a community top algebra. And we can look at the category of complexes in A comodules, all A comodules now, which is, yeah, maybe I just write A comodules, which should not be finite dimensional. This is a nice category, and the derived category should be something like the derived category of representations. But now there's a small subtlety in this example, namely, this category carries a model structure. It's a model structure due to Hobbes, where the weak equivalences are not really always the quasi-isomorphisms, but the so-called homotopy isomorphisms. Homotopy, or what is it called? The homotopy isomorphisms. So weak equivalences are the homotopy isomorphisms, and this is in general a smaller class than the quasi-isomorphisms. And this is another category I want to, so to say, describe in a different way. At least if G is pro-uniform.
So, I mean, it knows that you have to get more interesting.
I didn't plan to, but we can think about if you have, for example, complexes which are cohomologically bounded from below, and you replace it by inject. I mean, this can be raised enough injectives. Then these are nothing else but quasi-isomorphisms between such objects. In general, what you do is you give an arbitrary complex, you tensor it with an injective resolution of the tensor unit. And then you go into this and take on a class of maps from irreducible representations. And these define homotopy isomorphisms. And it's good now that we had these new V equivalences, because we can formulate now the following fact. So first of all, I look at the diffusive junction. I take the corresponding infinity category of this model category. So I call it, say, rep infinity of G. So that's the infinity category distributed to the model category. And there's such a junction between the infinity category of complexes of K modules. I usually denote nowadays the infinity categories also by D of something. Even if usually you just denote by this the corresponding homotopy categories. But this in this case also denotes the infinity category. And then we can, so this is matching on the left adjoint, so we can denote this right adjoint. We can now extract from this equation again a cohomology algebra. Namely, we apply the right adjoint to the tensor unit in rep infinity G, denoted by h of G. How do I do the tensor unit? This will be a commutative object on the left-hand side, the green object. And then, as you might expect now, we can reduce a junction between the module category over h of G. And then we can write h of G now. Here's actually the junction into and now we are in the dark situation that we took these other equivalences, which makes this compactly generated, and in particular the tensor unit is compact. We can use our original argument to argue that the left adjoint is always a full embedding, because this is, so to say, in the subcategory of this category, which is generated by also all sums, so to say, by the tensor unit. And then to achieve equivalence, we can just demand that G is pro unipotent. So if G is pro unipotent, we arrive at an equivalence. So in two cases now, we looked at certain triangulated categories and could extract some cohomology algebras, took modules over this, and saw that we get at least a full embedding of the modules into the original category. So these are the two examples I want to mention at first. Now I want to introduce a little bit my modular categories I want to work with. So we already heard about a certain version for motives. We start with complexes, sheaves of complexes on a smooth side. I also take a smooth side of schemes of a given base scheme. So for me, a base scheme will always be a scheme which is separated in other co-dimension. And these are the usual limitations to the function for this theory, if one is doing multiple theory. And SMS smooth schemes over S. Then, so I could now directly take sheaves of spectra, of usual topological spectra on this category, pre-sheaves, and then we would like to tensor invert the P1, what we also did in the second lecture. But instead, because P1 in the utility somehow has an S1, a simplicial S1, as mesh vector, we can do it at once. We can first look at the sheaves of spaces, which is the unstable multiple category, and then directly take P1 spectra in this category. So the H of S, which is the unstable multiple category of S, is defined to be, say, sheaves on the side smooth S schemes, and we equip it now with the so-called Mislievich topology, sheaves on this side with Lewis spaces. So it's the functor category consists of all functors which satisfy B same for the Mislievich topology. And then we take A1 localization of this category. So as we did it in the second lecture, we make this universal in such a way that the projections from x times A1 to x become equivalences in this category. And which one? This missing? Yes. We can also take pre-sheaves first, localize it with respect to the topology. That's also possible. So all these things are, so to say, left adjoints with fully faithful right adjoints. So you can either localize or take certain subcategories. It's always this the same answer. As I announced, I want to take now P1 spectra that directly introduce the recycling category. SHS, I just say that this is a P1 stabilization, which we get by taking P1 spectra. It's also inside symmetrical infinity categories over this category. It's also somehow satisfies a universal property, and you can always also prove that such objects with possessing such universal properties exist. So you could also define it in a different way. But we think of this category as obtained by taking P1 spectra of the pointed unstable multiple. So that's now a very nice category, where many cohomology theories are representable, like K theory, as is regular, and typical homology exists when there's a spectrum correlation with homomorphism, and many others. What I want to do now is the following variant of this situation. I want to fix an infinity object, infinity ring object, in the SH over the terminal scheme. So I take E in commutative algebras in SH of spec C. And this is just any ring object. And I want to define now SH index E of S in the module category inside SH of S of, say, upper star E. That is the structure morphism of S to space C. So there's a variant. If you take for E the tensor unit, you just directly get SHS. So there's a lot of work done on this assignment to S such a category, and notably by Joseph. So this assignment satisfies the so-called six functors formalism. This is why six functor formalism. So we have altogether six involved functors, and they behave with respect to certain properties. We have so the easiest functors are the pull back and push forward functors. But you also have in certain cases exceptional inverse image and exceptional push forward functors, upper Schwick and lower Schwick functors. And the remaining two functors are the derived tensor product and the internal horn. So that's a small generalization. If you take modules over such an E, then you arrive also at this functor formalism. And now I want to pick up a particular E. So if you want to do motives with rational coefficients, we already saw that various models coincide. So there's the so-called KTU spectrum, which I already mentioned, which is called KGL. You can rationalize it, and then it decomposes into a sum indexed by the integers over Adams connected over Adams graded components, so to say, which might be noted by KGL U upper I. And the zeroth bit of this you can define to be multiple homology with rational coefficients in Q. And all other bits are just shifted twists of this and Q. So this is reminiscent of the fact that the joint character from K theory to motivic homology is a rational isomorphism. Therefore, rationally motivic homology and rational K theory are, so to say, up to this periodization, which appears here, are the same. But what I want to do now, because one of the main topics, so to say, of these lectures is that I want to not only use rational but integral coefficients. And then there's a version of the motivic envelope present spectrum denoted MC, say over spec C, which can be obtained out of various bits together. So one information is MQ, it's a rational bit, but there are other bits like P-completed versions of this, and this you can obtain in different ways. And then you use the arithmetic square to do all these bits together to obtain such a spectrum. And this I want to use as black box. The only property I want to use of this is it's a mutually monoid object. So that's an object of com SHC. And it represents in favorable cases motivic homology. For example, over fields, that's defined by Robotsky. So if you pull back the spectrum to fields, then it represents motivic homology. And in general, I want to define motivic homology using this spectrum. So, okay, now my main definition here is the category of motives I want to work with is defined in such a way that we take this ring spectrum over the integers, put it back to any other scheme, and take the modulus. This defines the SH index MC over spec C. Okay. And this has now the advantage that one of the properties at least is that the homomorphism rules between shifts and twists of the tensor unit here are exactly motivic homology.
So this will coincide with the category that Joseph introduced when you take the next image topology.
And not only has to use transfers. Without transfers, you don't arrive at this. If you use transfers over a field and take the image topology and invert P, then you see that these categories are the same. For example, fields of factors 0, they are the same. But because we take modules here, you have a small problem with if the coefficients are not divisible by p. If you just take integral coefficients, then you need resolutions of singularities to see that that's. So, that's the fact because we take modules and not. If you would know that the suspension spectrum of every smooth variety is dualizable, which can be seen by resolution of singularities, then they will be the same. So now I think define motivic homology, so to say. So I first introduce the set objects, set of one, for example. This is nothing else but, so to say, the motive of the pointed P1 shifted twice back. So we take the suspension spectrum without class of pointed space P1, 3. This is now an SH over the base. And we smash it with MC over this X. And this will be then a modular spectrum. And this will be tensor inverted. So this is in BMX. This tensor inverter will generally define just C of n to be C of 1 tensor by integer n. And more generally, if A is in B, we also have objects A of n. Similarly defined, we just tensor this one with A. And then we can define motivic homology, HP, so that's a definition. HPX is equal to A of Q, is defined to be the homomorphisms in the M of X from the tensor unit set, not the tensor unit set, to a Q shifted P. So this homological index P corresponds to the usual shift, so to say, and that's the way, that's the Tate twist Q, which we denote here. That's right.
And just about, you said you want to remove two S1 suspensions?
Oh, I want to remove. Oh, I forgot it. That we run it. Oh, yes. Thanks. Understood. Exactly. Yeah. Good. So this motivic homology has several properties, but on a general basis we don't have any properties. But the usual assumption I want to formulate is that X is say smooth or a delicate domain, or even insmooth. X say insmooth or delicate domain. Then we know certain properties.
So you mean it's a rigid coordinate?
Yeah, in the int it refers to the algebras. Yeah, I mean, if you have a field as smooth, it would be rather pro-smooth, of course. But I prefer unsmooth because I see there's a filter pooling of smooth algebras. Like, if you have a smooth scheme, you take the local ring, or take the installation of the local ring. All these would count as such. Yeah. Okay, in these cases, we have first of all a truncation property. HPX A of Q is 0 for Q negative, or P. this means that there's no negative weight motivic cohomology. Generally, we don't know this property. So H0 is just a given number of copies of connected components of X, and I'm going to write it. We have this usual property, and in weight 0 there's no other motivic cohomology. So HP X, A0, 0, so P not equal to 0. Then we will take Tate topology. Even this would not be fulfilled, for example. Because constant sheaves, so that's the reason, because the constant sheaf on a regular scheme in this image topology has no higher sheaf cohomology. But for the Tate topology, this is not true. Okay, what else do we know? So, weight 1 motivic cohomology is completely wrong, because the weight 1 motivic complex is just the unit, so to say, on the scheme. So, therefore, we have H1x, let's say C1. It's nothing else but closed sections of the sheaf of invertible elements. And of course, in the next degree, we somehow must get the Picard group, because this is cohomology, no star. So then you get here the Picard group, and all others vanish. So in that one, all other cohomologies vanish. But as we know certain vanishing properties for high cohomological index. So we know that say HP X L cubed is equal to 0 for P greater than Q and R and X local. So to take this, I decided to take this smooth scheme as well as the assumptions. So a local ring, if the degree is greater than the weight, we have vanishing. And this property has the consequence that in general, if you have a non-local scheme, then we are vanishing at least if you go up the dimension. So for P greater than Q plus dimension X. Yeah. Then, if you look at motivic cohomology with finite coefficients, there's a very nice theorem. So I denote by epsilon. So first of all, I want to denote by n of n upper x. Motivic complexes on the small Zariski side of x. They are those complexes which compute these motivic cohomology groups. So n upper x lives in D x star. Yeah. So you can think about these complexes as arising as some levels of a P1 spectrum, and think about this P1 spectrum as defined by Joseph. then if you restrict these complexes to small Zariski sites, then you run exactly at these m and x. And they have the property that the Zariski cohomology of these complexes is compute to the cohomology. So I need this to state the next theorem. So for the next theorem, epsilon denotes the map of sides from the Tate side of x to the Zariski side. And then, for finite coefficients, and say a natural number m, which is invertible on x, and x is above, then the motivic complex mod m, and x mod m, can be computed by the Tate cohomology. And it doesn't coincide with the Tate cohomology. That's exactly why the effect that we took in the same topology. So it's not really Tate cohomology, but it's truncated Tate cohomology. If you take, so to say, the pull forward by epsilon of the usual n-twisted Tate sheet, which is the roots of unities, mu n, twist n. You push it forward to the Zariski topology. Then you get a motivic complex if you truncate it homologically at degree n.
Markus,
Yes.
they're not the same n, what n?
This should be an m. Exactly. And this n is this n? Yeah.
Can you say again what is MN?
Yeah. Yeah, this was a little bit unclear, I admit. Okay. So what do? You have these, you have the motivic unworkable plane spectrum, MC. This is a P1 spectrum. And you take a, so to say, an omega version, an omega spectrum version of it. Then, so with respect to P1, say, so this causes, say, we write the levels, E0, E1, and so on. These are the levels of the spectrum. And these E's will be complexes of sheaves or pre-sheaves on SMX. And what you do now, you just take such a complex and restrict it to the small Zariski side. I mean, you also change the topology from the Misnevic to the Zariski topology, that's not a big deal. And you view it as just complex on the small Zariski side of X. And then you have to shift it a little bit because there's a P1 spectrum and we want to have the shift out of these elements. But that's exactly the definition where you get that. Okay.
So n refers to the level of the spectrum that you're
Yeah. So they are also defined in conditional relatives, so to say, for you. Yes, because you don't know anything general. Okay. So I wanted to mention this relation to Tate cohomology because this is relevant for properties of the so-called relatively vanishing property, which I will use later on. And I can define it now. So X, that's the definition now. X basically satisfies the Bell's vanishing property for conjecture. first of all, if the properties which I mentioned for x being smooth over a Dedekind domain, also if the first three properties hold for 8%, if the first three properties from trivial cohomology hold if you take for the coefficients A the integers. So this means the negative weight cohomology vanishes, and the description of the trivial cohomology in weight 0. This has to be true, and then more crucially, we want that HP x C of Q equal to 0 for Q less or equal than, for P less or equal than 0. That's a vanishing of negative degree cohomology. So if you would have a space, cohomology space, you know negative cohomology vanishes. But in the motility context, we just don't know nothing about this property in general. So we have inequality, so that if we have homomorphisms between different weights of the Tate motifs, then it is also should vanish. So this is called the vanishing conjecture, as it holds. I mean, it should hold in general, that's the conjecture. And we just assume it sometimes from now on.
Markus?
Yeah.
Your three properties, you said were nothing in negative weight, the weight 0 property, and the weight 1 description as well. Is that?
The weight 1 description you don't need.
Oh, okay.
This also should hold for Q equals 1 here. So this is Q greater than 0. You don't need the complete description in Q equals 1.
Okay.
But you need the first three. Negative plus in degree 0 weight 0 plus degree non-zero weight 0.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then there's a small remark that if X is smooth over Dedekind domain, then we only need it rationally. Because of this property, the relation to Tate cohomology, we know it with finite coefficients. All we need is rationally. If X is smooth over Dedekind domain. So when is this fulfilled? Example. So for example, if X is a localization spectrum of a localization of a number array, or more generally, if X is a product of schemes of the following types, for example, it's not an exhaustive list. I mean, of course, you can take anything on because it doesn't change anything. For example, GM. Then the modular spaces of curves M0n or M0n bar, Quaternions, and also curves over finite fields. These are satisfied very soon in the conjecture. But already elliptic curves over Lamma field, we don't know it. So, now I come to the last bit of this lecture. Sorry?
Skills for which the condition fails.
No, of course, the complete is actually completely true. Just in general.
What's the best date? I was just wanting to know the date about the status.
Yeah. Okay. So that's about trivial cohomology. And this cohomology, we want to view now as in our first examples, like cohomology algebra, in a certain nice category which we really can control much better than these very big categories which we have here. So what we want to do now, we view now our X as our topological space at the beginning, and then we took the cohomology algebra. So at the beginning we took H of X with coefficients of R, the X now space. And now we want to replace X by a scheme. And we want that somehow the cohomology algebra captures all of the multiple cohomology of X. Not of all the schemes over X, but just of X. So, but we see we have this bi-indexing in multiple cohomology. So what we want is a description, an algebra in a different category. So I just mentioned that if you take the complexes of say 3D groups, and if you view now is if you want to ask if inside there exists some multiple cohomology algebra, then the answer is no, because it's only the single grading. But what we can do, we can introduce an additional grading, which is called sometimes the Adams grading. So we can look at the complexes of set modules with additional grading. The grading has the effect, that we have infinitely many copies of this category, that's just a product category. But we take the so-called day-one convolution symmetric module structure on it, where on set we have an addition in the symmetric module structure. So plus symmetric module structure. Which is day convolution. Where on set we have the plus symmetric module structure. So this means if you tensor something in Adams degree K with something in Adams degree L, then you get something in Adams degree K plus L. So then it works exactly as in complexes, but there's no second differential. So this is viewed as a discrete category set. So there's just a functor category from set into complexes of Lie groups. And we can talk about infinity algebras in this category. So I write now D of set again for the infinity category. So we ask now if A can live in commutative algebras is D of set to the set. And we have now the second grading, and this has this might model the additional motility grading, the weight. And maybe I just want to mention at the end the representation theory for Tate modules. That we have the following here, and then after that I just quickly say you why it's true. There exists an AX depending on base in X, then from set to the set. Such that we have a full embedding from the module category of AX taken in this embedding category where the algebra lives DAX into DMX, which is symmetric modular, and the image, let's call it I, is exactly the localizing triangle is a subcategory generated by the set of n. And I define this category of image to be my category of triangulated mixed state motifs. So this is defined to be D and T of X. Yeah, maybe I'm at the end, so I postponed the indication of the proof of this existence of AX to the next lecture. And then the bulk of the next lectures will be concerned about producing out of such algebras more group-like objects, such that representations of those will model our Tate motifs E and Tx. That's the project for the next lectures. Okay, I think I stop here for this lecture.